Welcome to a new episode of Deep Philosophy. Today we venture into an idea that has captivated the minds of philosophers, scientists, and science fiction lovers for decades. The possibility that we live in a simulated reality. Is this really possible? Let's explore. We started with the concept of the holographic universe. According to this idea, our three-dimensional reality could be like a two-dimensional movie playing before our eyes. How did we arrive at this idea? The origin of the idea of the holographic universe lies in string theory, an approach in theoretical physics that seeks to unify all the fundamental forces of the universe. According to string theory, subatomic particles are not point objects, but rather small, vibrating strings. This theory also suggests that there are additional spatial dimensions beyond the three we normally perceive. In the 1990s, theoretical physicist Juan Maldacena proposed the holographic conjecture. This idea suggests that a string theory in a space with a higher dimension, such as a three-dimensional space, can be equivalently described by a theory operating in a space with one dimension less, a two-dimensional surface. In other words, all the information contained in a three-dimensional space could be encoded on a two-dimensional surface that acts as a kind of screen that projects our reality. Information theory leads us to question whether we are more than just data in a cosmic machine. Imagine that our reality is like a complex sequence of zeros and ones. How does this relate to our existence? Information theory is a field of study that originated in computer science and mathematics, but has also influenced physics and philosophy. At its core, this theory is about how information is stored, processed, and transmitted. To apply this concept to the idea that we are data in a cosmic machine, consider the following. In information theory, information is often represented as sequences of zeros and ones, which are the basis of digital coding. In the context of simulated reality, we could conceive of the information that constitutes our existence as a complex sequence of data encoded in some way. The central idea is that if our entire reality can be reduced to encoded information, then our existence could be fundamentally different from what we perceive. This raises the question of whether we are more than data, or whether our reality is essentially a digital representation of information. Here, things get even more intriguing. Is it possible for information to flow from the future to the past, influencing our present events? This leads us to think in terms of memory pointers and the possibility of hacking reality. The idea that information could flow from the future to the past is a concept that has been explored primarily in theoretical and quantum physics, and is related to the notion of retrocausality. Retrocausality raises the possibility that future events could influence past events, challenging our linear understanding of time. Quantum physics in particular has yielded some intriguing insights into retrocausality. An example is the double-slit experiment, which shows how the decision whether or not to observe a particle at a future time can affect its past behavior. This suggests that the present or future choice to observe a particle can influence how it behaved in the past. This phenomenon is known as quantum retrocausality. The analogy with memory pointers comes from computer science and programming. In computing, a pointer is a variable that stores the memory address of another piece of data. If we could consider reality to be like a computer system, retrocausality could be seen as an influence from the future that affects the pointers to memory that define past and present events. The idea of hacking reality in this context suggests that if we could understand and manipulate these memory pointers, we could influence the perception or course of present and past events in unexpected ways, similar to how one can hack reality. A computer system to change its operation. Now we come to the intriguing question: can we hack reality? Imagine the possibility of influencing events, altering our perception, and changing the course of our existence. This leads us to reflect on free will in a simulated world. The notion of hacking reality in the context of a simulation refers to the idea that we could theoretically influence events, alter our perception, or change the course of our existence in ways that are beyond our capabilities and understanding. Current. This implies that if we live in a simulated reality, we could find ways to manipulate that simulation to achieve desired results. With all of these ideas in mind, it is important to address the philosophical and ethical implications of living in a simulated reality. How does it affect our perception of morality and responsibility? In a simulated reality, the notion of hacking could imply the ability to go back in time and change significant events. Imagine being able to revisit moments from the past and make different decisions to alter the trajectory of human history. For example, what if we could prevent tragic historical events or drive technological advances sooner than expected? Hacking reality could also refer to the manipulation of our perception. In a simulated world, we might have the ability to adjust how we see and experience the world around us. For example, we could alter our perception of time, gravity, or even reality itself. In a more personal context, hacking reality could mean influencing our own destiny. Imagine being able to make different choices throughout your life and exploring the ramifications of those choices before making a final decision. This would have profound implications for the notion of free will. The idea of hacking reality leads us to question the nature of free will in a simulated world. If we could influence events and decisions in ways that seem to defy natural laws, would this mean that our free will is limited, or that it is completely determined by the simulation itself? This is a deeply intriguing philosophical topic that challenges our beliefs about control and responsibility. In short, the idea of living in a simulated reality raises fundamental questions about the nature of our existence. Are we more than mere data? Can we influence our world in ways we did not imagine? Thank you for joining us on this journey through the philosophy of simulated reality. Do we live in a simulation? The answer remains up in the air. Don't forget to subscribe and leave your comments for a fascinating debate.